All right. Well, everyone, why don't we get started on our third character, our third officer? We have the... Oh, I'm sorry. So she was the quartermaster, the navigator. Doc Salem here is our surgeon, our ship's surgeon. And what an interesting character he is. And I could very much see... You know, I mean, I'm imaginative. I'll toot my own horn. Toot toot. I can see a lot of things. I would challenge you all in this sense. If you ever want to make a ship or a ship's crew like this, and you apply these positions, try to mix it up. You know, don't make your surgeon the cleric with a bunch of cure spells. You know, don't make your captain the sorcerer with a high charisma. Or don't make your first mate a bard, like a Commander Riker who just wants to seduce and sleep with everything to solve all the problems. You know, challenge yourself to step outside of the norm and to still be able to perform the ship's duties while having a fun and functional character. And that's what I like about these random character generations, because we have Tiny and Doc Salem, who are they're definitely not min-max. They are not optimized, but they're very functional at what they do for their class and for their role aboard the ship. Hopefully so, Bubonic. There was a runner on the field. Oh, now when you say that, English Mudkip, a runner, you like someone jumped out of the stands and was just like woo or something, you know, interrupting the game. I mean, and hopefully, presumably, no one got hurt. But sounds like she was being a little cheeky there. And oh, and by the way, speaking of which, we definitely have two people who are comfortable in their own skin here. They jumped out the stands. Okay. The things we do when we're passionate about something, huh? Oh gosh. Well, hopefully people weren't too upset. I mean, obviously it interrupts the game, but you know, going home with a story like that, or if you're already at home watching it and, you know, telling your friends, it can help bring a couple smiles on people's faces. Oh, sheeps, you are having a bad day? I thought we said those weren't allowed. So what's happening, oh sheeps? A bad day and not get... So what's going on, oh sheeps? And hey, yeah, English Mudkip's willing to give you a hug, and let's have some creativity flowing too, and maybe this will help bust through whatever morass you find yourself mired, in which you find yourself mired. All right, first things first, let's consult our random character generator, shall we? We're going to open the dice roller, dun, 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 and here we go. Percentile, do we have a female character, a male character, or a multi-class character, in which case we'll roll again. We have a male character. Now, our race, we have opened up all races and sub-races. And that, by the way, that also includes, I opened up the ones that are that were made by the boys over at D&D Time. So we get some bonus races here. So we have 35 different races. It's one of those self-pity. All right, well, so you know what, oh sheeps? If you got to work through it, you have space. I will not suffocate you with, you know, with oohs and ahs. We'll bust through it. Let's provide some energy, some creative mojo, and then we'll cross-mogenate, and hopefully by the end of the broadcast tonight, you'll feel better. And, I mean, someone out there may want to sponsor a box or something, and you'll get that yummy ASMR. And so for all of you out there who want to help Oh Sheeps feel better, please buy a box. Well, it's just money with me, isn't it? I'm the merciless capitalist streamer here, apparently. I'm going to generate a 35-sided die. And let's find out what race our character is going to be. Race number 7. Ah, we have a dwarf. Now I'm going to roll a D3. Wander Utopia, thank you so much for that host. Welcome. I'm going to roll a D3 and let's find out which type of dwarf we have. Oh, a Duergar. All right, then. Let's see. I think Duergar are detailed. Are they in Mordenkainen's Tome? No, they're in Sword Coast Adventures Guide, aren't they? No, they're not. Ah, they are in Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. English Mudkip, thank you very much for the host. All right, so we'll have to open that book up. So we have a male Duergar, like a dark dwarf. And we're going to do the balanced odds again, although our last two have been Chaotic Evil. Let's see. Do we have a Chaotic Evil male Duergar? No, we don't. If it was reversed to a 92, yes. However, at 29, oh, we have a Chaotic Good. So, in his own way, he is... we have a ship of people who are acting in ways that are opposite of what their societies are, at least. So they are definitely a crew of misfits. So let's go to our character here. We have a male Duergar. Those are medium-sized creatures. Alignment, Chaotic Good. So he's Chaotic Good, and then we have two Chaotic Evil officers. We're going to generate him at level. I rolled a 64 and a 64. We're going to generate a level 13 character. That means we'll get an ability score improvement at 4, 8, and 12. I'm going to roll a percentile set and find out if we replace any of those with feats. Nope. All natural. Just stat bumps. Our background sources. All right, now, we have 2 backgrounds left that were introduced in Ghosts of Saltmarsh. We've already made the Fisher. That was our Loxodon. And we've made our Marine, and that was our Lizard Folk. That leaves Shipwright and Smuggler. I'll just roll a D4. Odds is Shipwright. Evens is Smuggler. Odds. Okay, he is a Shipwright. Now, I'm going to consult the Ghosts of Saltmarsh here. Let's see. Life at Sea. Your life at sea in port has shaped you. You can roll in the following table to determine its impact or choose an element that best fits your character. All right. So this is going to be a D6 to determine kind of the type of shipwright, what has influenced us. And so for the next set of rolls for the background, and these are going to be placeholders only. I don't know what they're going to mean just yet. We'll look at that in a second. This is going to be 2d8 for the personality traits. 3 and 8. And now I'm going to roll 4d6. 1 for our life at sea, then our ideal, bond, and flaw. All right, so we have 3, 8, 3, 3, 2, 6. 3, 8, 3, 3, 2, 6. Awesome. Yeah, we're scooting along. Now, for our class and subclass, all the sources are open here. I'm going to roll this golden D12, and we're going to find out which class our character will be, and then roll for his subclass. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed you talking a little bit here, Wonder Utopia. Oh, some excellent hype and emotes. I love it. Oh, and there's that fun little awoo or awoo. I like it. I hope you're having a grand stream. Do you know much about Dragon Age Origins lore? Just curious. Unfortunately, Wander Utopia, I don't know a lot about Dragon Age Origins. I have not played that game. I know some friends I have some friends and some people in my store community that could go on and on about it, but unfortunately, it's not my forte. Geez, I miss out on some conversations. Sorry, I'm usually watching chat to be able to respond. I was just on such a roll. This is pretty good how you can do this with e-groups now. Rycon, you're hoping for a bard? A shipwright can fit a Duergar, yeah. It's all good. When you're on a roll, you're on a roll. Yep. All right, so here we go, everyone. Also, if you got cat butt emotes, you're welcome to spam them, because there's a cat butt. 9. A rogue. Ah, a rogue. Now it is time to determine which kind of rogue we have. Arcane Trickster, Assassin, Inquisitive. Mastermind is in 2 sources, so that's only going to count once. Scout or Swashbuckler. And hey, wouldn't that be interesting if we got that... Swashbuckler's on there twice. And then in Thief. So there are 7 different... there are 7 different subclasses to rogue. Let's make a 7-sided die and roll it. Wonder Utopia, yeah, with the cat here. I'll put some cat butt up here too. There we go. Swashbuckler would fit, wouldn't it? All right, so here's our 7-sided die, and let's roll it. I'm gonna put this back on screen so you all can see what I rolled. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a Mastermind. And I believe Masterminds are out of Sword Coast Adventures Guide. Yes, they are. So I am going to need... Dun, 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 dun. Pull that off to the side so I can open up my menus while not interfering with the broadcast. We're going to need Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. And we are going to need the Sword Coast Adventurers Guide. All right. There's a little bit left that we need to roll up. Now, class features for Rogue, they don't have anything like a fighting style, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, we're going to find the Duergar racial entry. There we go, Duergar. And let's find out how old our character is, and then his height and weight, so we get some physical characteristics on him. Scroll down here. It's on page 2 of this character sheet we use. I'm going to roll a percentile set to find out... Hey. 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 I have a water bottle. A percentile set to find out where in his life he is. And I'll... oh. Come on, computer. Alright, well... You can see where that's going anyway. The dice roller's covering it up. We rolled a 15, so we have a young adult. And so... And this is physical maturity. This isn't necessarily a cultural maturity. So, for example... elves aren't considered adults until they're 100 years old. And yet they have already achieved their adult forms well before that point in time. So we have a young adult who's going to be 11 plus 1d6 years. Young adult Duergar, who is 15 years old. I wonder if he was sent off by his family to learn a trade, or perhaps because he's a misfit. If he sort of ran away from home and signed up with the crew. There's a lot of different things that we can. There are a lot of concepts we can invoke. To, ma'am, hey. Yeah, well, you can rub on the chair and be all lovey, but I don't want you clawing. Hey, stop. Apparently this is D&D and also cat babysitting time. Duergar start at 4 feet tall. We're going to add 2d4 inches to his height. So he's 4'6". Now we're going to take that 6 and multiply it by 2d6. So we're multiplying that by 8, so we're adding 48 pounds. He's 178 pounds at 4'6". There we go. Jim Alkins. Remember, you're not supposed to pronounce the H. Wow, talk about someone who's been through a lot. 13th level Duergar Rogue Mastermind who's 15 years old. Yeah. So what has this person seen or done? Or what's happened? If it hasn't been developed naturally, is this sort of an old soul? Some sort of... Ma'am. That's right, you don't bite me. I grabbed her paw and she went, and her teeth stopped right on the surface. And then she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm totally licking your finger. I wasn't going to bite you or anything." Mm-hmm. Yeah, she has been. And I think part of it is she just wants to play. And she hasn't had anything to fetch because she normally fetches and she likes running around. Another part of it, too, is I think with the onset of summer, she is shedding like a fiend. And I have been taking a slick brush to her. I've been taking a slick brush to her, and I'm getting hair all the time off of her, and so a part of it is I wonder if she's just not kind of itchy and warm. Your Chihuahua does that, but goes on, "No, I can't," and proceeds to love bite. Oh, yep. Yeah, I mean, she's just been kind of lovey. She wants pets because it's helping to get the fur off her, and it's also some social interaction. So if she can't fetch the ring, then she can at least have her pet human remove fur from her and for her. Because why would she ever deign to lick her own fur? I mean, that's how you get fur balls. So you can't feel too good if you have just a bunch of fur. Whoop. There's even more on the brush. Yes, that is O'Sheep's. There you go. What are you doing? Hi. Can I help you? Yeah, there's a rumble of thunder. I don't know if you can hear that on mic. She's she hears it. All right, let's continue on, shall we? All right, now, when we're creating characters, I love starting with the background first because I want to get to know the character. I want to know who our character is. You know, any Duergar is a Duergar. Any rogue is a rogue. But not any Duergar or rogue is this person. And so let's get to know who this character is. Go back to Ghost of Saltmarsh, and here's the Shipwright background entry. We have skill proficiencies in history and perception. History and perception. We get tool proficiencies with carpenter's tools and water vehicles. Okay. A blank book, which those are like 10 gold pieces or something. That's actually a valuable item. A blank book, 1 ounce of ink, an ink pen, a set of... Hey. Set of traveler's clothes. Hey, no. I don't make me close you out of this place. No. I don't want to have to do it. I love you very much. And I know you just want to play. But we can't play right now. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. Dad's got to work. Are we cool? She's licking my hand, so I guess that's an I'm cool. Alright, a set of traveler's clothes and a belt pouch, or it says leather pouch, with 10 gold in it. We have the background feature of I'll patch it. Provided you have carpenter's tools and wood, you can perform repairs on a water vehicle. When you use this ability, you restore a number of hit points to the hull of a water vehicle equal to 5 times your proficiency modifier. A vehicle cannot be patched by you this way again until after it has been pulled ashore and fully repaired. So you're good for a, it's the slap patch. Like I'll keep it going. I'll make sure that we can at least stay in the water until we can dry dock and get everything fully repaired. You know it, oh sheeps. I have the beard and burl. I have the beard and burl for it. Hey, Risky. About to fire up. Popped in to say hi and get your numbers up and cheers. Hey, thank you, Luke. I appreciate that. And yes, by the way, for anyone who enjoys beer culture, or history related to brewing and such, please stop over at Risky Business. And Luke, if you want to put a link over to your channel, you're welcome to do so. Because I'll tell you, those two guys, they know an awful lot about their trade, and they're personable, they're fun, amazing people to talk with. And I'm happy to share Twitch with guys like that. Now, our life at sea that we rolled was number 3. Favored. You insisted on thicker planking for a merchant's vessel's hull, which saved it from sinking when it smashed against a reef. You have a standing invitation to visit the merchant's distant mansion. Ooh. And again, this is what I love about backgrounds. They not only help you roleplay your character and give you some good guidelines and reminders. As the dungeon master, if you submit this character to me, Suddenly, there's a history. What was the vessel and what was it carrying, or who? Where was the reef? And what happened that the ship could have been dashed against it? Who's the merchant? Where's the mansion? And so we're world building simply by a dice roll. And our world is the better for it. And we don't have to go out of our way to super think about it because a prompt has been given to us. In fact, the merchant could end up being the big bad evil guy of the campaign. The player characters might not know that. Heck, this merchant might even be the person who owns the ship that they're sailing and sends them out on missions, and then suddenly you find out over the course of the campaign that your sponsor the whole time is the one doing nefarious deeds. And it so happens you were doing tasks for him that ended up being underhanded, or he was trying to send you away so that you wouldn't meddle in his affairs until he could pull his scheme off. And that could either have been because he didn't want you to know or hurt you because maybe you're friends, but he had to put some work in elsewhere. That could have been distasteful, could have been illegal, immoral, or it just was someone's got to do this and it's going to be me. Or it could just be deliberate. I want as few people as possible to find out and interfere, and to send them out. And now all of a sudden we have so many options. This could be just a simple NPC. This could be a complex villain. I love workshops like this because it gets us to think. It gets us to make these connections. Yeah, doing another collaboration would be a lot of fun, Luke. I'll work with you all to talk about well, maybe we could do something like a collaboration around sailing, and how IPAs came about, or just how beer or other spirits feature in sailing, in the culture around it, and not just look, sailors, they enjoy beer or rum, whatever, that's fine. But maybe some traditions or shanties and drinking songs and the like, to go into the history and the geography of where and how rum was invented. Why is it called an India Pale Ale, and so forth from there. But yeah, I'd love to do another collaboration with y'all. All right, so we have this merchant who owes a favor, or at least who wants to entertain this character, and of course, where the one character goes, so too shall the others. Now, for his personality traits, and remember, so we have a young lad here. He's 15. Although for some people, they might not realize, maybe he has a full beard already, and they just mistake him for being older because how many people see a Duergar, or let alone comprehend that you're just so used to seeing dwarves with beards, and you associate them with just being old as stone, because a lot of them are, that they just presume that he was older. All right, I think she's settled down now. I'm glad. All right, our personality, I'm going to scoot this over just a bit so we can type. Number 3. I thrive under pressure. And personality trait number 8. I don't mind getting my hands dirty. So he is willing to just dive right in. Maybe even literally dive into his work if he has to patch the hull of a ship, but he might have to be underwater for it. And so he does it from the outside, or from the inside he'll hold his breath and kind of dunk under, or put himself into uncertain circumstances to get the job done. Now, his ideal is number 3. Invention. Make what you need out of whatever is at hand. So he's very crafty, and he's I don't know if he's at the point necessarily. Maybe if he was more chaotic evil, to say, oh, just plug up the breach in the hull with the dead bodies. You know, we'll unstick them later, but all of us need to live. So I don't know if he's necessarily at that point, but I think that he is very intuitive, and if you have a character like this aboard your ship, it might not be a standard ship for a while, and so a character like this could make it fun, where suddenly it's not just a basic stat block ship. We start looking at things like upgrades. We start looking at things that are improvements. We start incorporating science and technology or even magic into the mix. He may well know athletics, bubonic one. Next up, our bond is number 2. Much of the treasure I claim will be used to enrich my community. And now here's the question. Who is this community? Did he come from a community of Duergar? Was he adopted by other dwarves after being abandoned by Duergar parents? Or if not dwarves, was he raised... If he's 15, was he raised by the captain as sort of a surrogate son and brought this child aboard? Or, you know, was he at some point in time an urchin before learning this trade? You know, is his community... or he could just honestly be a... he could just be a... just a natural. He's very gifted. Oh, you know what? We did not roll for his officer. Ooh, this could be interesting. We didn't roll for his officer placement. We still have captain, first mate, bosun, which would be kind of meta to have a shipwright bosun, and cook. Let's see how that's how that will end up crossing, but not until we get to his flaw first. His flaw is number 6. I sometimes take things that don't belong to me, especially if they are well made. All right, so, you know, he's got some sticky fingers. He might get a little, you know, he gets conversational and he just picks up stuff over the course. And that could cause some problems. Hopefully he gives them back, but it doesn't mean he doesn't take them. Rambunctious? Oh, your torty's being rambunctious as well? Who can blame him, though? Sometimes I'm in a conversation and I just accidentally... Yeah. I mean, how many times have you done something like that at the bank where you accidentally take a pen because you're talking with a teller or someone in line while you're filling something out, and then, you know, you're halfway home, you're like, really? Oh, I took a pen from the bank or the post office. Wow, I'm a scumbag. Maybe I'm a little harsh on myself. I don't mean to indicate you're a scumbag for doing it, unless you are. Low-life pen stealer. That's right. Shake that head, oh sheeps. Thrives under pressure. Doesn't mind getting his hands dirty. He is very inventive. Much of the treasure he claims will be used to enrich his community. So that'll be something to think about who his community is. And I sometimes take things that don't belong to me, especially if they are well made. By the way, something like this could... this sounds very altruistic. And this could simply be paying back student loans, right? If he went to shipwright school, so he'll say, "Oh yes, much of the treasure I claim will be used to enrich my community." Meanwhile, this is just keeping the debt collectors off his back at port. All right, now let's bring up our character, our character generator one more time with the dice roller, because we need to figure out: do we have a captain, a first mate, a bosun, or a cook aboard the ship? And here we go. Well, my friends, this is going to be an interesting story. How did he get to be captain of the ship? Are ideas springing to mind? How can we have a 15-year-old Duergar who's the captain of a ship? Bosun would have been role number 3, Bubonic. Ah, so Bubonic wants to tie it into him being a mastermind rogue. Hone, hone, hone. Let's find out the aspects of a captain. The captain issues orders. The best captains have high intelligence and charisma scores, as well as proficiency with water vehicles and intimidation and persuasion skills. All right, so intelligence and charisma are gonna have to be high on this character. We already have proficiency with water vehicles from being a shipwright. Now, what you could do if you are a player character and you're faced with redundancy like this, because this happens time and again, talk to your dungeon master and discuss options. Would this give you expertise in water vehicles? Right? If you would have gotten it twice from 2 sources, does that mean you can add your proficiency twice if you make those checks? Or instead of taking water vehicles, would you be able to take something else? Another tool set, or land vehicles, or another skill even. So, I mean, tools don't directly relate to skills, but flesh it out with your DM, and you may find that he or she is open to options. Just be creative and think about the situation and present a couple different options. Oftentimes, you'll find success if you present options instead of ultimatums. And when I say options, don't present your dungeon master with 10 different things you could possibly do. Narrow it down to 2 or 3 to make it easier to consider, and that also leaves the option for a fourth idea to pop into your DM's mind and offer that instead. So in this case, there's a redundancy, but you know, we could say it's expertise if we really wanted to. Now we're also going to get intimidation and persuasion as skills. And remember, when this is presented to you as if someone's going to play this role, these are going to be the aspects that they should be better at. And you can take that as, all right, so you develop a character, and if they meet these proficiencies, or at least part of them, then they'll be good at that role for the mechanics that are pursuant to navigating the ship or combat. How I've been rolling the characters, even in Unearthed Arcana, is I've been adding these qualities for free to the characters because the officer has stepped up, and the officer is more skilled or experienced or knowledgeable in things than a normal crew, a normal crewmate would be. And so it's not necessarily going to break the game if someone has an additional tool proficiency or a skill. You would just be making someone who is, you know, just slightly better than an average character because of their station. And how I can justify doing this is no matter the class and subclass we rolled, we're going to focus on the suggested abilities being higher than they would normally. You know, with a rogue, most of us would go, oh yeah, definitely dex and or strength for sure. So we can just, you know, take kidneys all day long. And yet being a captain requires intelligence and charisma. And so we're going to focus on these while still building a viable character for the class and the race. All right, so with that, we have completed our background, and we've assigned the officer's role to this character. And this way, we get to know him a little bit better. We can imagine the things he's gone through in life and the decisions that he'd make. And now we can start answering some other questions by looking into his race, and then finally his class and his subclass. All right, now there's a lot of lore in this book, and all of it could be true in your campaign world. None of it could be true, or however you want to incorporate it. And so while there may be a broader Duergar society of some kind, we have an individual from that society, and so we're focusing on him. All right, here we go. Here's our Duergar traits. Our strength score increases by 1. Oh, you know what? I forgot. Duergar is a sub-race of dwarf. So we're actually going to split this between... we're going to go into the player's handbook also. But while we're here, let's put the Duergar traits down. Our strength score goes up by 1. Our dark vision goes out 120 feet. We can speak, read, and write undercommon. So that we're going to get common, dwarven, and undercommon. You have advantage on saving throws against illusions and against being charmed or paralyzed. Excellent, excellent resilience here. So, versus illusions, charmed, paralyzed. We also get some Duergar magic. When you reach 3rd level, you can cast...
I. Matti he soir man. If he can't do it, great. Gislice K.
GM Vault, thank you very much for that Welsh cheer. and for re-upping. Hey, GM Vault, take a look at the color of your subscription badge. You have now moved up into a nice, like a salsa con queso orange. Thank you very much, GM Vault. It's a pleasure to have you around, as always. When you reach 3rd level, you can cast the Enlarge Reduce spell on yourself once with this trait, using only the spell's Enlarge option. When you reach 5th level, you can cast the Invisibility spell on yourself once with this trait. You don't need material components for either spell, and you can't cast them while you're in direct sunlight, although sunlight has no effect on them once cast. You regain the ability to cast these spells with this trait when you finish a long rest. Intelligence is your spellcasting ability for these spells. And we also do have sunlight sensitivity. You have disadvantage on attack and perception checks that rely on sight when you, the target of your attack, or whatever you're trying to perceive, is in direct sunlight. Alrighty. So we are going to put this down here. Enlarge Reduce is a 2nd level spell. And so we're going to put Duergar Magic. And we're just simply going to put Enlarge, because we don't get the Reduce. And that is going to be based off of Intelligence, because there is a save if you cast it on something else. Well, it says just on yourself, but yeah, still, we'll note it. Invisibility might be a part of that too. And so, as part of Duergar Magic, we also have Invisibility. All right, now let's pop back to the player's handbook and check out the base dwarf package. Our constitution goes up by 2. We have a very high constitution party. Let's see. Our walking speed is 25 feet. So 12 climb, 12 swim, and 0 fly. We do have dark vision, but we have superior dark vision. We have dwarven resilience, and so we have advantages on illusions, being charmed, paralyzed, and poisoned. And we have resistance to poison damage also. We also have dwarven combat training, so we have proficiency with the battle axe, hand axe, throwing hammer, and warhammer. So axe / hammer, and I'll just put well, I'll just leave that there because we're gonna get some weapon specialties from being a rogue. We're also gonna gain proficiency with artisan's tools of your choice, smith's tools, brewer supplies, or mason's tools. Hey, Cake Boss, welcome. Good to see you. Your cat tried to jump in your bowl of cereal. Oh my goodness. Well, since he likes hard work and something that would also fit aboard a ship would be smith's tools. So that way if he needs to make nails or other metallic bits, then he will have the ability to do so himself. This is another point when you can ask your DM, well, my individual characters like this, do I have to stick to the 3 dwarven tool proficiencies? And your DM might say, nah, you're crafty, you've done this to get in this position, you can take something else. Hey, Tomato Blue, welcome back. No, that's fine. I hope you've been enjoying our character creation. Oh, you think that he'd have brewer supplies, Bubonic? I mean, with his carpenter's tools, he might be able to be a cooper also and make barrels. Stone cunning. Whenever you make an intelligence history check related to the origin of stonework, you are considered proficient in the history skill, and add double your proficiency bonus to the check. Don't usually, but then again, how many times do you have a Loxodon and a lizard folk in your crew? Coopers are barrel makers. Oh, sheeps. So we'll put brewer supplies. We're going to get stone cunning. Now, again, you could, in this situation, you could probably approach your dungeon master and say, look, given this character's interesting past or what has brought him to this place, could I replace stone cunning with something like ship cunning or wood cunning, where I can identify wood or I can identify ships, because that was my area of study. That's what I was brought up in my adoptive or otherwise my society that groomed me and raised me to be this person that I am. And your DM might say no, and that's fine. I mean, you still have stone cunning, which can come in handy, especially because a lot of piers and other docks and warehouses and whatnot are made of stone. Walls to breach or to sail around. Magnificent mountains and volcanoes and such that you could evaluate. But these are all conversations to have. Nope, doesn't hurt to do so. And we already have our languages and our subrace. Ba-ba-da-da. Excellent. And so the Duergar are mentioned here, but unlike the Drow, who do have their stats in the player's handbook, they don't. They're not statted out in the player's. This is a big ship with some large crew members. Think modern aircraft carrier. so it might have a forge. Is it a big ship? Doesn't necessarily have to be, I don't think, Zulerpai. Although it very well could. We definitely have a diverse number of people aboard. Alright, now it is time for our class. While we're in the player's handbook, we are going to reference Rogue. But only Rogue as the class and not the subclass. And then we'll go to the Sword Coast Adventures guide for that. We are making a 13th level Rogue. So this is what we're worried about here. We have D8 hit die. So as this class, we have 13 of them as we're level 13. We are going to have proficiency with light armor. We're going to have simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, and short swords. So axe and hammer from his dwarven heritage. And that also kind of plays into, axes and hammers for being a woodworker. Simple weapons. And I'm just going to put rogue weapons as a summary. We're also going to have carpenter's tools, vehicles, water, brewer supplies, and thieves' tools. Dexterity and intelligence are going to be our proficient saving throws. And now we can choose 4 skills from acrobatics, athletics, deception, insight, intimidation, investigation, perception, performance, persuasion, sleight of hand, and stealth. Whew. Alright, we get 4 skills. He thrives under pressure. He doesn't mind getting his hands dirty. He is inventive. Much of the treasure I claim will be used to enrich my community, so he is going to be on the lookout for treasure. I sometimes take things that don't belong to me, especially if they are well made. That could very well be sleight of hand, investigation, athletics, and acrobatics, probably. If he's going up and down and all around to help fix the ship. Athletics is for going up. Acrobatics is for coming down. Is a good summary. Hi, Bobicus. Oh, yes, wood cutting. Yeah, that's a very good descriptor of that, Bobicus. The reason I think it's a large ship, says Zulerpai, is that if the Loxodon goes to the port or starboard side, a small ship would capsize. Unless there's a lot of ballast below, say stone or brick for a forge. Hey, so there, see, we have an inventive captain. And so if we're going to have stone in the bottom of our boat anyway, which is probably where he's hanging out because he is sensitive to sunlight, his workshop could very well be filled with stone and be the ballast in the bilge of the ship. Ah, see, Zulerpai, you're thinking. All right, so sleight of hand, athletics, acrobatics, and investigation were the 4 that I thought made sense based on his background and his his role on the ship and his class. All right, next up, we start with the following equipment. For purposes of this, I'm not really going to worry about his initial outlay of weapons. I mean, he can use all of this stuff And so I want to keep things moving along. I mean, do you think he'd duel with a rapier, or would he use a short sword? You know, he could be good with a short bow. He might take a Dungeoneer's pack or a Burglar's probably a Burglar's pack, because there's lots of tools in there, like a crowbar and some ball bearings and stuff that he can use, not just for burgling, but for construction and maintenance of the ship. Leather armor, you know, stuff like that is going to be pretty standard stuff. So we have expertise at first level. Choose two of your skills or proficiency, or your two of your skill proficiencies, or one of those and thieves' tools. Your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check made that uses those proficiencies. And then at 6th level, we get 2 more. So for our class, we are going to have expertise, and we get 4 skills or 3 skills in thieves' tools. And so tell me, amongst all of his proficiencies, athletics, acrobatics, sleight of hand, history, investigation, perception, intimidation, and persuasion, and thieves' tools, where does he have expertise? Remember, he is the ship's captain. He is a chaotic good male Duergar. He's 15, by the way. He's not a child prodigy, but he's a young adult who is definitely he's been favored in some way. He's a shipwright by training or just by instinct, and he can fix the boat pretty well in a pinch. He thrives under pressure. He doesn't mind getting his hands dirty. His ideal is invention. Make what you need out of whatever's at hand. That's kind of, to me, I think one of those should be investigation, right? Putting clues together, thinking critically, making blueprints and the like. Much of the treasure I claim will be used to enrich my community, and I sometimes take things that don't belong to me, especially if they're well made. Oh, yeah, that's still a little early for that, Bubonic, so hang on to that thought. I think with charisma being important to him as a captain, thrives under pressure. I don't mind getting my hands dirty. I don't necessarily see that as intimidation, although he can make himself large with his racial magic, so he might give himself a bonus for that. Much of the treasure I claim will be used to enrich my community. And I sometimes take things that don't... by the way, having enlarge reduce, if this character was... he is a shipwright, so it comes in handy there. Or if he didn't take shipwright as the background, and instead he was the bosun, who's kind of the engineer, that enlarge could come in handy to help plug holes, or to help support the ship, or to try and hold the plank to the water pouring in and slam the nails in to try and keep everything out, and then slather it with tar or whatever to seal it. All right, I think investigation, persuasion, probably athletics. Maybe we should double up and go for the intimidation and persuasion. He is the captain after all. And sometimes you gotta use the rod. I don't know if he'd be especially... thieves' tools are more for fine picking and the like, and he's more of a hands-on person. In that regard, you could ask your dungeon master, instead of thieves' tools, could I take expertise with carpenter's tools? And I think you could have a strong case for that, for that pitch with this character. But if we're going by what's presented in the PHB, and I leave you to bat your eyes at, oh, Mr. Miss DM, can I please? Louise. I think athletics would be the way forward. So you can climb and swim, and you're a strong leader as well. All right, so that's expertise. We're going to get sneak attack. And let's see. Sneak attack by 13th level, we have 7d6. We can speak Thieves' Cant. So not only do we know Common, Dwarven, and Undercommon, we know Thieves' Cant. And if you want to modify this in a sailing environment to be some sort of like a sailor language instead of a Thieves' Cant, then again, ask your DM about it. In fact, your DM might say, yes, all of you know this sailing language. It's like maybe a trade language or something. And so it's primarily used only at sea or, you know, in the immediate vicinity of the docks. But it could be a way to communicate subtly. We are going to get Cunning Action. And that allows us to be very mobile, which is good for a captain. Our Roguish archetype we'll get into in a little bit. Our ASI we'll get into in a little bit. We get Uncanny Dodge, which is some damage mitigation, which is also good. So in the middle of a firefight aboard the ship, we can dodge the splinters of wood from the broken rails or the enemy fireballs that are incoming. We're also going to have Evasion. We can nimbly dodge out of the way certain area effects, and so it's more mitigation. And so I think this is making for a very strong leader, right? He's not afraid of being aboard the ship and, you know, in the middle of combat or in the middle of a fight, because he can dish it out and he can take it, or at least avoid it. Reliable Talent. This is an awesome ability, by the way. You have refined your chosen skills until they approach perfection. Whenever you make an ability check that lets you add your proficiency bonus, you can treat a d20 roll of 9 or lower as a 10. And we're just shy of getting Blind Sense at level 14. But this would be excellent for a captain to have as well. You know, if people are sneaking aboard the ship or the like. A rogue for a captain would be really good. Oh, you know what? I think the Mastermind would be extra good, too. Let's go check out the Mastermind. All right, your focus is on people and on the influence and secrets they have. Many spies, courtiers, and schemers follow this archetype, leading lives of intrigue. Words are your weapons as often as kniffs or poison, and secrets and favors are some of your favorite treasures. Ooh! You know, and it says that, and what does that spark? Much of the treasure I claim will be used to enrich my community. Treasure doesn't have to just be material wealth. Treasure could be secrets, words, passcodes, rumors, or legitimate news. And so we might have someone who sells information and not just treasures. Goblin Nobility! Hey, it's good to see you again. Welcome. The treasure could be a kniff. Says King. Hey, King, good to see you. So we are a master of intrigue. When you choose this archetype at 3rd level, you gain proficiency in the Disguise Kit and the Forgery Kit and a gaming set of your choice. Oh my goodness, we can do so much. No wonder we're captain. And we have 2 other languages. What did this 15-year-old Duergar do to become a shipwright and become captain of this ship that we're making? So let's go Carpenter. Carpenter, ships, brewing, thieves' tools, and disguise and forgery. There we go. And a gaming set of our choice, too. So it could be something like dice or Mancala, or and gaming set. There we go. Additionally, you can unerringly mimic the speech patterns and accent of a creature that you hear speak for at least 1 minute, allowing you to pass yourself off as a native speaker of a particular land, provided you know that language. That will come in absolutely handy if you're the captain going island to island. We are also a master of tactics. Starting at 3rd level, you can use the help action as a bonus action. That's really good, and also for being a captain. Additionally, when you use the help action to aid an ally in attacking a creature, the target of that attack can be within 30 feet of you rather than 5 feet. If the target can... So yeah, aim! Fire! Boy, we have an awesome captain here, everyone. We also are going to get Insightful Manipulator. Starting at 9th level, if you spend at least 1 minute observing or interacting with another creature outside combat, you can learn certain information about its capabilities compared to your own. The DM tells you if the creature is your equal, superior, or inferior in regard to 2 of the following characteristics of your choice: int, wiz, cha, or class levels. At the DM's option, you might also realize you know a piece of the creature's history or one of its personality traits if it has any. And, 13th level. Hey, that's our level, 13. Misdirection. Beginning at 13th level, you can sometimes cause another creature to suffer an attack meant for you. When you are targeted by an attack while a creature within 5 feet of you is granting you cover against that attack, you can use your reaction to have the attack target that creature instead of you. More mitigation. And we're not high enough yet for Soul of Deceit, and so that'll just have to wait. Venom, hello, welcome. It writes itself, doesn't it, O'Sheeps? A Mastermind Rogue, yes. In our random roll guide here, as we were going through and introducing the elements of what our character would be, we ended up rolling for a Mastermind Rogue for the captain of our ship, who is a 15-year-old male Duergar, chaotic good in alignment, and his background is that of a shipwright. And it writes itself, O'Sheeps. Excellent. Now that we have our background, our race, and our class, it is time to take our standard array and to drop the engine into the character. Now, because of the bonuses that I was giving to this character for being captain, the tool proficiencies and the skills and the like, in exchange, the Ghost of Saltmarsh supplement does say that captains with high intelligence and charisma are favored. Like, they will make better captains. And so I want our 2 higher scores to be intelligence and charisma. Yes, we are a rogue. However, we are also smart, and we use our charisma even before going stabby stab with our strength or our dexterity. And so Bubonic One is suggesting 13, 12, 8, 15, 10, and 4. And because we went all ASIs, ability score improvements, we would get a bump at 4, 8, and 12. So we would have 6 points to play with. So if we did that, that is 13, 12, 8, 15, 10, and 14. As I've not played either of those characters, Venom Rage, and I primarily stick to the core rulebooks, so I'm not entirely familiar with the capabilities of either of those archetypes. So personally, I mean, if you're asking that to me, I can't say that I ever have because I've never been in that position. But there might be others out there in the audience who have. So with this, let's see, with int and charisma, I would almost say, I know it's very subtle. I would say his charisma is probably higher than his int, and so I would swap the charisma to 15 and the intelligence to 14. No, Venom, you're fine. You can ask any of those questions. And just because I can or can't answer something doesn't mean that there's not other people who would be able to do so as well. That's the beauty of this sort of format, is that we can have these discussions. You've only ever had to choose rogue specs on WoW. Okay. So aside from that, bubonic one, I think that this is good, because you know a lot of us want to give a high dex to our rogues to just go off of finesse and sort of have a and have a character that is double dipping on defense and offense. I definitely think this is a strength rogue, and so to that end, I really don't know if we should put any points into dex beyond beyond what it would have. I would almost say, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I think going a strength rogue is going to be good.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Hey, Nictorac, thank you so much. Hey, 3 months. Enjoy your spicy queso next to your name. It's great to have you around, Nictorac. And thank you very much for re-upping. That means a lot to me, that you have decided to continue supporting the channel, believing in it, and being here and having fun. You tried both of them and don't know. Sometimes I feel it's a bit easier to play an Inquisitive Rogue, only because it's better for RP than Mastermind. I don't know. We just read a bunch of awesome stuff for... I mean, so I don't know what an Inquisitive gets, but a Mastermind gets a ton of roleplay stuff. So, I mean, I guess I could only say that the Inquisitive must have an even greater array of roleplay tools. So I think this would be the way to go. I think you had a solid premise, Bubonic, but we're definitely going to be making a strength rogue here. If we do this, so here's our 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. We're going to add our racial modifier, so our constitution is going to 10, and our strength is going to 14. And now we get to add, in 6 points into things. And I don't know if we could take his strength to 20, but I don't know. I think his int is good where it's at. The charisma could probably bump up 1. So if we do that and we go Charisma 16, and let's bring Strength to 15, and now we have 4 more points. Actually, I guess all but 1 for the Charisma could go into Strength and bring it to a 19. So he's almost there at the 20. You know, Con perhaps, though I would argue, I would say that Con's not going to be as important because of he gets a ton of damage mitigation. So having more hit points is fine. And you know what? He's going to have a lower than normal AC. Because right now, if he's wearing leather armor, his AC is 12. Right? Leather armor starts at 11 plus your dex mod. So he only has a 12 AC. But if the person who's playing this character is this master of intrigue, the master of tactics, is the insightful manipulator and has misdirection, has cunning action, uncanny dodge, evasion, reliable talent. This is someone who is going to duck, dodge, dive, and dodge again. And so, an AC and all that, and as a captain, I think it would go to this. I think it would go to strength. If we did that, that's going to put his strength modifier at level 13 to 4. Hey, V-Bunny, welcome. It's good to see you back. V-Bunny, did you get a chance to watch all of the Fallout that occurred from Tuesday? Let's see, at level 13, we have a +5 to our proficiency. That's going to give us, oh my goodness, a 14 athletics. Whew, nice. We are definitely a strong leader. Let's see, Dex, acrobatics, sleight of hand, stealth, 0 con, 7 int saving throw, 7 history, but a 12 investigation with 2s in the other skills. For wisdom, it's 0 down the line, with the exception of perception, which is going to be 5, giving us a 15 passive. That's 10 plus our ability, or our modifier for that skill. And our charisma is 3 down the line.
Stillwant tosi a goblin or halfling barbarian build lol.
Well, by the way, thank you very much for re-upping V-Bunny. That means a ton to me that you believe in the channel and you're here for that. At some point in time, if we don't get, because we could get a goblin or halfling barbarian for our next officer character, but if we don't sometime, maybe we can feature a workshop where we have a party of short stacks, and so we'll just go with small races, and we'll build a party of small races. Our intimidation's going to be 13, and our persuasion's going to be 13. So our Duergar is definitely going to be authoritative. And now our character is no longer a pile of stats. His name has been opened for suggestion. And so if you have any suggestions, what would this person be called? What is he known by? Is he Captain So-and-so? Does he have a kind of a sea dog nickname? Is he proper about his name? Or again, was he adopted, right? We have a prodigy on our hands. Not a child prodigy per se, but he is 15. Was he taken in by elves and given an elven name? Or taken in by, I don't know, by tieflings? Or whatever. Our initiative is going to be a +1 because that is a dex check. Our hit points, at level 1, we're going to get all 8. of our D8 for our hit points. However, for the remaining 12 levels, we're going to go half plus 1, which is 5. And then for all of our levels, all 13 of them, we get bonus hit points equal to our Constitution modifier. So this is easy math. That's just going to be 0. This is going to be 60 plus 8. So we have 68 hit points at level 13. No spell slots because these are... We do get some magic, right? We get Enlarge and Invisibility from being a Duergar, but this is once per long rest. And what's nice is that it's based off of intelligence, which isn't too bad. Well, so it's 68 hit points, but you got to remember, V-Bunny, that this character has a ton of damage mitigation. And so those 68 hit points are gonna last a long time. Oh, Sheep says it's 1 point away from being the best. Yeah, with misdirection, cunning action, uncanny dodge, evasion, and a lot of the stuff we're going to be able to do with our skills like athletics or acrobatics and the like, there's ways that we can position ourselves, kite enemies, get behind cover. There's a lot of things that we can do in roleplay or in combat scenarios that will mitigate damage. And there's also the fact that this is the captain of the ship, meaning that the crew is also going to step up and help defend the captain. And so it's not that he's scared to fight, because he can. But he's, I mean, he's not going to stand there and tank all the hits in a traditional fashion. He's going to be ducking and weaving and all this other stuff. While he's also ordering people to take actions and to be a strong, present leader. A level 9 Barbarian Wizard would have 101 hit points if you do nothing but increase con. Elvish and Orcish, maybe. That's possible, Bubonic. You know, because we're not really dealing with a particular setting. These are... I just leave these open... oh. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. There we go. I leave these open because it's... I mean, if you're sailing in dragon territory, then maybe it's Draconic. Something along those lines. Well, they could be whatever languages that you want to give this character. This character has 2 extra language slots. I think we have a very competent and capable captain. And so I have to wonder then, what happened that he assumed the command of this ship as captain so young? Did he win it in a gambling? You know, is this kind of a Han Solo sort of thing? Is he just a prodigy and he was top of his class, and so he was given command of a ship, and especially, and remember, if we can talk about the meta we're creating, if it was a ship full of misfits, right? We have Doc Salem and Tiny here, who is our ship surgeon and our quartermaster, respectively. You know, he might have been given this command because no one expected anything good from this ship in the fleet, because it has a bunch of misfits aboard. And this would be an awesome opportunity for this captain, who himself is a misfit amongst his people, to step up and run an awesome adventure. I mean, I guess that's for us to say, is that we're running the adventure. We can have an awesome adventure if we have a ship with these as our officers. He conned his way up into getting the power of the ship. Dr. Gilligan von Gugelheimer. Oh, Rogue Mastermind. Ah, thank you. Now, if that was the case, V Bunny, though, does he actually have a doctorate, or is that a product of the forging tools? And there's also that we have a captain, and if that is he, would he insist on two prefixes or two titles? The doctorate could be a product of the forgery tools. Gilligan wouldn't be such a bad name. I don't know. It might curse the ship. We could do something like this. Gangilli. It was the captains. Hey, After Fov, good to see you. Vince Gilligan. So if we take this and we kind of hybridize it, we could do... Gangilli Vinheim? Gangilli Vinheim as the name of the captain of this ship? Could work. You like that? Not a bad name, says V-Bunny. There we go. So everyone meet our captain, Gangilli Vinheim. All right, let's get up and take a break. Refresh your drinks. Get some salsa, some queso, or put the two together. And what do you get? Salsa con queso. And we'll take our break. I'll save this document, and we will get our final crew member generated up in this next section. The positions we have left are first mate, bosun, and cook. And so when we get to that point, we'll roll a D3 and find out what we have.